Iran, a country known for its ancient history, sacred shrines, and deep-rooted culture, was once shaken to its core by a series of horrific murders unfolding in the holy city of Mashhad. In the shadows of the 1940s, as the world reeled from the aftermath of war, one of the most terrifying serial killer cases in Iranian history quietly took shape. And the killer, disturbingly enough, wasn't a deranged lunatic or an escaped madman. He was a man who smiled often, sang softly, and blended in effortlessly. Hassan Orangi, later dubbed the Singing Killer. Mashhad, revered as Iran's spiritual heart and destination for countless pilgrims seeking peace, hid a blood-stained secret. Hassan Orangi wasn't an outsider. He lived among the people, played with children, laughed with neighbors. But behind his gentle songs lay a hidden monster. From 1945 to 1951, at least 62 women, mostly destitute and marginalized, were lured, murdered, and discarded without remorse. What shocked Iran wasn't just the staggering number of victims, but the methodical and haunting way Orangi operated. He didn't kill in a fit of rage or for revenge. He selected his victims calmly and deliberately. He sang to gain their trust, then led them to their doom as if performing a tragic symphony, one that ended not with applause, but with lifeless bodies buried in Mashhad's outskirts. Orangi was born in 1925 in Esmailabad, a poor suburb of Mashhad. He came from a working-class background with a childhood that left little mark. He worked various jobs, construction, plumbing, and at one point assisted at a local morgue. That job may have played a role in desensitizing him to death and decay. No one knows exactly when he started killing, but the first suspicious death linked to him appeared in late 1945, when an unidentified woman's body was found in an alley in the Khorasan district. From that point on, bodies kept surfacing. Each case bore disturbing similarities: women strangled by hand or cloth, no signs of sexual assault, and no valuables left behind. Police initially believed these were isolated incidents, robberies, or accidental deaths. But as the number rose past 10, the pattern could no longer be ignored. Mashhad descended into fear. Iranian newspapers reported a rising body count, stoking panic. Women stopped walking alone. Rumors ran rampant: a ghost, a madman, or a secret organization. Police formed a special task force, yet the killer always seemed a step ahead, erasing traces, picking victims with surgical precision, and vanishing. Meanwhile, Hassan Orangi carried on his daily life. He sang in markets, joked with locals, and was even invited to sing at small weddings. His voice wasn't particularly beautiful, but it had a haunting calmness, like someone who had come to terms with life and death. That calm voice was the last sound many victims ever heard. Orangi's accomplice was a less-mentioned figure, Abbas Ali Zarafian, described as quiet, always trailing behind Orangi. Upon arrest, Zarafian admitted to helping lure victims and hide bodies, trading complicity for small sums or cheap alcohol. For him, a poor woman's death was nothing compared to a warm bottle on a cold night. The case broke open when a witness, an elderly bread vendor, saw Orangi lead a young woman into a back alley and return alone. Days later, her body was found near a dried canal. She reported the incident, and police began tailing Orangi. During surveillance, 3 more bodies were discovered. Forensic evidence and fingerprints linked them to the same killer. When Orangi was arrested on April 7, 1951, he offered no resistance. He was at home, humming a Persian folk song when the police arrived. He smiled as they handcuffed him, almost relieved. At the station, he confessed in full. No tears, no guilt, just calm acceptance. Iran, a nation haunted by its past public executions, now braced itself for the most disturbing trial in decades. Hassan Orangi, the seemingly harmless man from Mashhad, had confessed to over 60 murders. And now the country was determined to understand how such horror had thrived in silence. During the initial interrogations, Orangi's demeanor stunned investigators. He answered every question with eerie composure. In a 4-hour session, he admitted to strangling at least 62 women over 6 years. "They were lost souls," he said. "I only sent them on their way sooner." His calmness chilled detectives. Most killers deny or deflect. Orangi, however, spoke as if recounting errands. When asked why he targeted poor women, he replied, "Because no one waits for them at home." His confession sparked the largest body recovery operation in Mashhad's history. Police exhumed over 40 corpses in 3 weeks, buried in ditches, landfills, and wastelands, he pointed out. Many were decomposed beyond recognition. No one came forward to claim them. No names, no mourning families. And that, more than the killings, ignited national outrage. How could dozens of women vanish for years without anyone noticing? Reporters from major Iranian papers dove into slums to uncover the truth. They found a sobering reality. Most victims were undocumented. No ID cards, no fixed addresses. Some were prostitutes, others refugees. All were invisible to the state. Meanwhile, Abbas Ali Zarifian, Orangi's accomplice, was arrested and questioned. Unlike Orangi, Zarifian panicked, changing his story multiple times. But forensic evidence and Orangi's testimony confirmed his role. He confessed to destroying evidence and assisting in several murders. As pressure mounted, psychiatrists evaluated Orangi. A panel of doctors concluded he was mentally sound. Not insane, not delusional. He had full awareness and intent. One doctor warned, "He's a high-functioning predator. He will kill again if ever released." In September 1951, the trial began. Crowds flooded the courthouse. For many, it wasn't just a legal event. It was exorcism. Orangi entered in a wrinkled gray suit, not prison clothes. Asked for a statement, he calmly said, "I only wished they would die quickly, without pain." His detailed recounting of murders silenced the room. He listed names, locations, and dates like a twisted ledger. No remorse, no apologies. It was as if he was proud. The judge sentenced him to public execution by hanging. Zarifian received 15 years for accessory to murder and evidence tampering. But what shocked observers most was Orangi's request. He wanted to be executed as soon as possible. In a handwritten note to the court, he wrote, "I killed. Now it's time for me to die. Don't delay." The execution was scheduled for early December. All of Iran watched with anticipation. Justice was no longer abstract. It had a date, a face, and a noose. Iran. Dawn broke over Mashhad on December 2, 1951. Despite the winter chill, more than 5,000 people had gathered at the public square. Police formed a barrier, journalists held cameras, and children peeked from shoulders. All eyes were fixed on the wooden gallows at the center. It wasn't just an execution, it was a reckoning. Hassan Orangi was led out amid jeers and thrown stones. Yet he did not flinch. Witnesses said he even smiled. As he walked, he hummed an old folk tune, his trademark, the same eerie melody that once lulled victims into false comfort. He wore a crumpled gray coat, hands bound, and face emotionless. When asked for final words, he said, "Bury me beside the ones I killed. I am a part of them. They're the only ones who ever made me feel real." No one knew if it was regret or madness, but one thing was clear. He was ready. The rope tightened, his body lifted, and Mashhad let out a collective breath. The nightmare had ended. After his death, citizens visited the neighborhoods where victims once lived. Makeshift shrines were built at former dump sites. Volunteers raised funds to give anonymous women proper burials. A mass graveyard near Mashhad held over 40 new headstones. Most bore no names, only a line that read, "A soul once forgotten." Scholars and journalists analyzed the case for years. What created a man like Orangi? Was it poverty, neglect, or something darker? Some blamed society's treatment of marginalized women. Others said evil simply grows in silence. From this tragedy, the Iranian government introduced ID reforms and improved oversight in slums. Police presence in high-risk areas increased. While far from solving systemic issues, Orangi's case forced a long overdue reckoning. Zarifian died in prison 3 years later of tuberculosis. He left a single line in his cell. "I walked with a devil and didn't know." Decades passed, but Orangi's name lingered. He appeared in law textbooks, psychology journals, and documentaries. In 2023, an Iranian director released Singing in the Dark, a film about Orangi. Public backlash shut it down within days. Many accused it of romanticizing a monster. Still, his story endures, not as folklore, but as warning. Today, Mashhad remains a sacred city, yet beneath its spiritual aura lies a quiet scar, a reminder of the man who sang lullabies before murder. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining us in exploring one of Iran's darkest true crime stories. Hassan Orangi's case wasn't just about a killer, it exposed society's failure to see the invisible. What do you think about Orangi? Was he born a monster or made by a broken system? Share your thoughts below. We read every comment. Don't forget to like this video if it kept you watching and subscribe to our channel for more chilling true crime stories from around the world. There are still many more mysteries to unravel, crimes to expose, and forgotten truths to remember. See you in the next video. This is The Hidden File, where secrets never sleep.